Good morning to you. This is Pam Moore, your host, coming to you from Boulder, Colorado. I know it might not be morning when you're listening to this, but it's morning here. It is May 4th. I'm actually recording this mini episode on the same day as my launch, so I'm feeling all kinds of good energy. I have literally been thinking about this podcast for 3 years. I don't even remember when I first thought of the idea, but I've been marinating on this for way too damn long. So it feels incredible to finally have it out in the world. And I'm also really excited that some of you are excited for me. I want to read some of the really kind reviews I've seen on iTunes from some of the folks that are listening. I've got something here from Protz who says, I can't wait for this podcast. Women who care deeply about taking care of themselves are too often bombarded with diet culture, airbrushed photos, fear-based messaging around food and exercise advice from influencers instead of professionals. Damn right, Protz. That's a side comment from me. Pam's background combined with her journalistic integrity will help us all zero in on what really matters when it comes to living a healthy life. Thank you, Protz. That was so kind. Got another really nice review here from Buttons32. Pam, can't wait to hear all of your future episodes and get inspired by like-minded women who have overcome all of the obstacles society has thrown their way. Thank you. All right, let's dive into the episode. So just to ground us a little bit in time and space, I'm about to be fully vaccinated in 4 days. By the time you listen to this, maybe who knows what the deal will be with coronavirus, but it is now early May 2021. It's been just over a year of pandemic living, and I think we are all ready to be done with this. And as we are slowly sliding out of it, I don't know about you, but between life starting to return to normal and the days getting longer, I'm feeling really good. I hope you are too. This episode is going to focus on imposter syndrome. I touched on it in my last mini episode. If you didn't catch it, I'll link to it in the show notes. It was the one that came out on April 27th called Why I Started This Podcast. Imposter syndrome is a topic that is near and dear to my heart, and I want to share with you today one of my favorite strategies for dealing with it. When you are stuck, when you are wondering, what if I fail? What if I mess up? What if I look stupid, right? Haven't we all been there applying for a new job, trying a new career, maybe trying a new sport, giving a presentation, anything that puts us out of our comfort zone? I think it is totally human and totally normal to sometimes not even move forward. It can be paralyzing to wonder, what if I fail? I would challenge you to ask a different question. But before I share that important question with you, I want to tell you a little story. Several years ago, totally randomly, I ran into a friend who I hadn't seen in forever. And she said, I'm coordinating a conference for Women's Day at DU, aka the University of Denver. And I need presenters. Would you apply? I think you'd be great. And it was kind of crazy because literally a week before we had that conversation, I had been thinking, you know what would be fun? Public speaking. I had no idea where to begin with that. So my friend is kind of dropping an opportunity in my lap. She says, you should apply. And I'm going, awesome. Yes. Thank you. Wow. Okay, I will. How do I apply? And then, of course, my next question was, what the hell am I going to talk about? So I landed on the idea of imposter syndrome, and we're getting very meta here because, okay, I poured my heart into this presentation. I must have spent 20 hours creating it. And as the day got closer and closer, I got more and more nervous and started to really think, oh my God, who am I to give a presentation on imposter syndrome? So I tried taking all my own advice because, of course, the presentation explained, this is what it is, this is what it looks like, this is how you know you have it. And of course, I had some of my favorite tips. So I'm trying the best I can to take my own tips. And up until probably the very minute that I hit go on my timer and started to give my presentation, I was terrified. It went really well, though. And when it was over, people came up to me and they were like, wow, you said all the things that I have been thinking. A woman came up to me after who said, you know what's crazy? She said, I've been running on a treadmill for 8 years, every morning in my basement, I must log 50 miles a week. She said, but I never thought of myself as a runner. She was like, and now hearing you say this, I feel like, well, obviously I'm a runner. And wow, I felt amazing. Like this person and I connected after I gave her this talk. Another time after that talk, I gave another version of the talk at a running store, and we had a little Q&A comment session after, and one of the participants shared that he was in a larger body and he felt like he didn't quote unquote look like a runner. And for years, he would only run at night, only in the dark so that nobody could see him because he felt ashamed of being a runner. He wasn't willing to claim that I, in this body, am a runner. And he was just really effusive about how much he related to the idea of imposter syndrome. So like little moments like that where somebody would come up to me or share with a group their true feelings about what I had said that, somehow that resonated with them, that made me feel incredible. And it made me realize, you know what? It doesn't even matter if my presentation wasn't perfect, right? What's perfect? Nothing. I connected with somebody. And to me, that is a huge win. So when you're thinking about something that you want to offer or that you want to go for or something that feels out of your comfort zone, instead of asking, what if I fail? Try this. Ask, who can I help? Okay. Instead of what if I fail, just who can I help? It's just a really simple, quick mindset shift. And it can help you realize that, nothing you do has to be perfect to help somebody. You don't have to know everything about something to help somebody. Several years ago, I established myself as a running coach, and I was really excited to be able to target more beginner/intermediate type runners, but I kept on procrastinating. And part of that was, well, I've never even qualified for the Boston Marathon. What if like quote unquote real runners are going to call me out and say that I'm not qualified to do this? Then I remembered there are tons of people that run faster than me, but there's also tons of people that run slower than me. There's tons of people that have more experience than me. Yeah. And there's tons of people that have less experience than me, and that I have something to offer those people, right? It's not the person who's trying to make the Olympic qualifying time that was going to hire me. No, it was probably, the 2-hour half marathoner that's wondering, hey, could I shave 5 minutes off my time? That type of target client would be the type of person I can help. So what I'm saying is you don't have to know everything about everything to get started with something, to help one person. And that's something, honestly, that I've thought a lot about in terms of this very podcast. I am essentially building the plane as I fly it. Do I know? Yes, I know about health and fitness. Do I know how to ask good questions? I'd like to think so. I'm a journalist. But as far as all of the audio stuff, the audio editing, production, sound quality, there's so many ins and outs that go into a podcast. And I think one of the reasons, like I told you earlier in this episode, that I've been marinating on this for years was like I was so excited about the what, but then I got freaked out about the how. If that's where you're at, I do think that's normal, but I also think you can't stay in that freak out of how, because you will figure it out. And every time I thought, okay, I could let all the details hold me back, or I could shut my eyes for a quick second and imagine some listener hearing what I said and it's somehow helping them, somehow making their life a little bit better, somehow giving them a reframe, a different way to think about things and navigate their world from a more powerful place. When I thought about that, I got so lit up inside that I was like, you know what? I will figure out the hows. It's going to be fine. So with that, I think I'll leave you with a big, huge thank you for joining me on this journey. Thank you for listening. If this resonates with you, then let me know. Leave me a review, rate this podcast. If you want to subscribe, that would be amazing. When you do all of those things, it helps other people find the podcast, and it helps me spread this message of you are enough, right? When it comes down to it, if I have to say what am I trying to do with this podcast in one sentence? It would be spreading the message that you are already enough. No matter what you do, no matter how well you do it, you're enough and you do have gifts to share. And I want people to know that fear shouldn't be a reason to keep you from sharing your unique gifts with the world. If you want to reach out to me, email me, pam@pam-moore.com. You want to learn more about this podcast, about what I offer as a body positive health coach. If you need to hire a freelance writer, check me out at pam-moore.com. Until next time, keep it real.